no other recourse but to come on here because I've got to vent. I've just got to vent. Because I just found out, remember me a while back talking about a post apartment complex they wanted to put in my neighborhood. Literally right next to the convenience store that we all visit in this neighborhood for convenience reasons. I just found out that the proposed apartments they wanted to put right there are not going to be going there. No, they are going to be put on the outskirts of my neighborhood. Literally smacked up right against it. And they are currently plowing the area. And when I first saw one man out there with a fucking chainsaw and another guy on a plow, on a backhoe, I was curious. I said, "Hey, what you guys doing? What's being developed here?" And he said, "Houses." He said houses. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because in a lot of senses, I would have no problem with homes being put there. Actual, factual houses. Because there are already houses on this street, a ways down from where my neighborhood is, but there are houses facing the street, you know, where the driveway leads out to the street. But no, I just found out through Metro Development that they are making Primrose Park a 504 unit apartment complex, complete with amenities, pool, dog parks, right on a stretch of road known as Woodcrest and No Bixby. Now, across the street is Big Walnut Creek. I go over there all the time to fish. They recently cordoned it off as if they don't want anybody going over there anymore, which has kind of really pissed me off. Now, I haven't been fishing in a little while, so still need to renew my license. But regardless of that, is the fact that all I could think about was him saying houses. Houses. And I'm like, okay. Maybe he's an honest guy. Maybe I'll take him for his word. But then I started noticing how much space he was plowing, how much area was being cleared. And so one day on my way home, I got off my bike, I walked up the hill, and that's the thing too, the fucking entrance, I don't know what they're going to do, but regardless, is that I walked up the incline, and I saw the amount of space they were clearing out. And I'm like, this doesn't look like a spot for homes. Because there was one major clearing, and then just off to it where it kind of narrows down till you get to the intersection and the entrance to my neighborhood. The large area that was plowed out was large enough for what we all know as an apartment high-rise. Now, I have not yet seen any proposed pictures of this place. But I will tell you that this location is also literally right next to a freeway overpass that I go under every day. And even from right here in my home, off in the distance, I can hear the trucks. I can hear the motorcycles and the loud sports cars. So how the fuck do you think the people living in those apartments are going to feel, having to hear all that? And the other issue was that last Friday, I had to call the police, who then told me I need to call the fire department, but at least the police are aware of this particular incident. The son of a bitch that's been clearing it, they left a barrel of wood burning, unattended. Literally 5 feet or so from a large pile of dead, piled up wood. Which, we all know because of California, that one ember touches that wood. And we had no rain. We've had no rain. Oh, wait. No, we did have that rain, but I don't think it was enough to basically stem any idea of a fire happening. Regardless, fire department came out, put it out, and that was that. But on my way home today, and now, mind you, I had not seen this motherfucker, for a few weeks. And the backhoe that was there originally plowing everything out was gone. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, maybe he's done his job and all. But the fact of the matter is that when I initially stopped to ask this guy what was going on, he had somebody else with him, aside from the guy in the backhoe. And I said, hey, buddy, who's in charge of this site? And he pointed to the older man. Now, mind you, both of these men are Middle Eastern. And the man he sent me to talk to was one of them classic old hunched over men. Slow moving. And he's over there pulling on branches and stuff. By hand. And so I say, hey, what's being built here? And that's when he said homes. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I could appreciate a few extra homes in the area because that's a single family. Single family. That can be tracked in the sense that they can be, let's just say, singled out. For example, if they were going to build houses out there, you would assume that the people living there would want to keep their property nice and clean. As opposed to what we all know happens with people who live and rent out apartments. Trash everywhere. Bugs. Crime. And not to mention, these apartments, I might have stated it already before, but they are kissing right up against a line of homes that are on just on the inside of the neighborhood. You drive into my neighborhood through the one entrance that we all use, and immediately after you hit turn to get on that road, boom, there's another turn and a whole line of houses that basically stretch the whole length of the neighborhood, literally going all the way around. That literally come up against the freeway. So there are homes over there that have to deal with the freeway noise. However, they don't have to look at it because the city thought it was a good idea to put up I don't even know how fucking tall it is, but we've all seen those walls as you're on the freeway, those giant walls. You always want to know what's back there? Homes. And they think that these walls are going to dampen the sound. And that the people living there don't have to see the road and see the cars. I'm sorry, I would rather be able to see the cars than a fucking wall. Now, these people on this road who were probably perfectly content with opening their back doors and looking out their back windows and seeing just a wooded, swath of land, wooded heavily. And they were like, nobody can bother us back here. It's at least peaceful. Yes, I can hear the road, but it's at least peaceful. I don't have to look at anybody. Now they're going to have to look at every fucking body. They're probably going to be looking right in people's bathrooms and living rooms. They're going to be fucking having to deal with their fucking bottles, beer bottles. Their babies' diapers. Because for some fucking reason, people in apartment complexes think that just because there's a maintenance guy you see usually walking around picking up trash, that you can just throw your trash everywhere. That's not how it fucking works. I have literally seen people throw trash when, not at this particular job because I'm not required to pick up trash. They have somebody else for that. But in the last 4 complexes that I used to work at, I was picking up trash. And there were literally people who saw me picking up the trash and they would throw their wrapper on the ground. They would just drop their beer bottle right there. Go, here you go, man, there's some more for you. And I'm like, motherfucker, no, you can pick that shit the fuck up. People who live in apartments are rude, inconsiderate, ungrateful, unintelligent, degenerate, low-life, drug-using, alcoholic, non-English speaking, jack-offs you'll ever fucking meet. In the complex that I'm currently working at, the people there by now should know that I am there by 4 o'clock. I don't start until 6. So therefore, I have a chance to literally get a head start if I wanted to. But even then, by 6 o'clock, it's still relatively, we all know, still relatively dark, not slash light. I mean, right now it's dark at 6 o'clock. And so I head to whatever unit I'm working from the unit that all my stuff is in, and or I may have a task somewhere else in the complex to do. As I'm walking through the complex, the kids that are coming out with their parents to go to school, they know me. They should know me by now. But it seems like that early in the morning, their brains ain't working quite right because they see me and they're all, I'm like, what the fuck? I work here, buddy. Chill out. This one kid about had a fucking goddamn aneurysm. I was like, I work here. Cool, chill out. So it just boggles my mind that the city would allow, that people around here would allow apartments to be built right in their backyard, literally. I'm sorry, but like I said, there is no reason for this affordable housing boom that we're going through. They're saying that we're about to have a population boom in 2050. Why? How can you be so sure? If I'm left to my own devices on as to why they believe this is going to happen, is because for one thing, they thought that Kamala Harris was going to win, and that they were going to continue to allow migrants to flow in, and that all of a sudden we're going to have the need to build all this new stuff. And guess what? The Democrats could get the jump on the stocks for these companies. Oh, Metro Development Metro Development says they're gonna take in they're gonna build enough affordable housing for 1 million immigrants. Oh, okay, let's start buying stock in Metro Development. Yeah, let's do that. You see? But now that Trump is in office and ICE is doing their thing, God, we need you here. We need ICE here. Because I guarantee you, their first step into Columbus, Ohio, they will go, you, on the bus, hands out in front of you, on the bus, because you're going home. We have an eclectic bunch of people in this state right now. We have people from the Middle East seemingly running all of our gas stations and convenience stores. We seemingly have a large amount of what I would say Somalian or Ethiopian, let's just say African migrants, literally walking everywhere like they got nowhere to go. And I'm already hearing about what's going on out in the UK. I'm keeping close fucking tabs on Great Britain right now, and Ireland, and Germany. Even though Germany is the one they're just bellying up anyways. Ireland's fighting back. UK is kind of half and half. They're fighting, they're fighting like all hell. I'll give them that. You don't fuck with the Brits. I'm seeing what's going on over there, and I'm starting to make the correlation between there and here. And it's happening here. Entire shopping centers with nothing but foreign-owned, foreign-exclusive stores. Stores with only groceries and food that they eat, clothes that they wear, and serving food and beverages at restaurants and other diners like that for their own people. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could walk into any of these places if I wanted to. But why would I want to? I don't eat anything halal, okay? I don't eat anything that's covered in sriracha sauce. I don't wear, sandals and nightgowns, as in Muslim wear. And yes, if you want to call me, if whoever's going to watch this, whoever's going to see this and leave any kind of comment or anything, if you want to call me racist, at this point, I don't give a fuck. I gotta live next door to an entire fucking lineage of non-English speaking Mexicans. And one white guy. He gets out every day. And he's actually the worst. He pulls up, he seems to be all nice and everything and all that. Seems to be all well kept. But he pulls up in his Honda SUV bumping rap music. Or bumping music. They don't even do that. Okay? He gets out and you could just Smell the liberal on him. Because he gets out, he grabs his little backpack and throws it on, and then he takes out his vape as he walks up to the door. Because I believe he's either married to or dating one of the daughters. Because there's like 3 daughters. There's like 3 young girls that live there too. And I haven't shown anybody yet, but their backyard from day one became a mess. I don't know why the old neighbors, why they left their pool for them. They had it all up and put away in the shed back there, but no sooner did they move in, they start pulling it out and they set it up. And I'm like, well, okay, a pool is a pool. I get that. I was used to seeing a pool there anyways. But then they had to go and put a fucking giant ass fucking tarp, horribly hanging it over the pool to keep the tree from dropping ants and other debris into the pool. They never cleaned the pool. It became green. Greener than Yoda. Greener than the grass. And yet they were still letting their kids swim in it. Winds, we had a few storms. Winds came blowing through, tore up the tarp. And I'm just going to show you right now. I'm just going to fucking show you right now. That's what's left. They won't take it down. They won't do anything with it. That busted up playpen, those 2 pallets, they just set them there, just left them there. I mean, I know it's not my property, but if you understood how my brain works, yes, sometimes I think that everybody's just trying to be out to get me kind of thing, because in the past, it seems like everybody's against me. I'll get a little bit ahead in life, and there's always somebody around to knock me back down a few notches. Such is life, you know? You get knocked down, you pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep on going. And just wait for the next dumb fuck to come by and kick you and trip you and knock you over. I don't know. I'm going to drive myself sick. I'm going to make myself fucking sick. Because I can't understand how, Trump's doing such a great fucking job. Such a great fucking job. And I want to help him. I want to be like Pete Hegseth. I want to be like Charlie Kirk. I want to be like Chip Roy. I want to be like Marco Rubio. I want to be like Vivek Ramaswamy, for fuck's sake. Please, we've got to get him as our governor. We've got to get him in. Because I just found out, too, that fucking Sherrod Brown and Tim Ryan are Tim Ryan is playing with the idea of running again, but Sherrod Brown, he's fucking running again. He's going to run for governor. And we also have Dr. Amy Acton, the psycho COVID bitch who told us to mask up, stay 6 feet apart, close your businesses, keep your kids home from school, which basically... No, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that specific thing. No, I can, as a matter of fact. It was because of Dr. Amy Acton pushing the COVID narrative here in Ohio. She was able to convince 2 of the most important people in my life, my aunt and my grandfather. She convinced them through her means and through the legacy media, mainstream media, to push the COVID shot onto people. And YouTube gave me shit about this before, but when I said that the COVID shots are going to kill people, I got flagged and I got a strike for that. Well, COVID's over, motherfuckers. But you guys caused my aunt and grandfather, you pushed them, convinced them that getting the shot was a good thing. And then here comes Dr. Fauci, who says, get your boosters, get boosted as much as possible. So they did. They both received 2 shots. And What happened shortly after? My aunt, who already had medical conditions as it was, she only had one kidney, and her other one was failing. Her liver was being poisoned. She turned yellow. She spaced out. She kept falling. And my grandfather was the same way. His cognitive function started to slow down even faster. He would mess himself to where me and my cousin would have to help him get cleaned up. I had to watch two people that, for all intents and purposes, yes, had medical conditions. But they were fine. They were fine before they got those shots. I just know it. So the very same people that caused this are the very same people that during Biden's term said, hey, while everybody's locked down and staying 6 feet apart and not talking to anybody, how about we slip in a couple million, 20 million illegal immigrants? But then somebody had to say, oh, well, wait a minute. We can't just bring them all in. There'll just be large crowds around. People are going to wonder, where did all these people come from? And they're all going to notice that they're all pretty much the same ethnicity. And they're going to say, oh, well, no. We're gonna build homes for them. And it's going to be great for us because we can invest in the stock in that company. We'll call it affordable housing. Because honestly, before COVID, I never heard of affordable housing. There were homes and apartments. But then after COVID, it was affordable housing. Tell me if I'm fucking wrong. Now, I know it's a Wednesday, and I think I only had one person pop in for like a few seconds. But again, this will still get posted regardless. Because I'm fed up. I'm absolutely fed up with the way things are working. Especially in my, what I call a 50-50 state. You've got a Republican governor, squishy rhino Republican, who does some good by us, but then it turns around and fucks us. Like with the recreational marijuana thing. They give us recreational marijuana. I say, whoa, wait, no. I do not want recreational marijuana. Because the fact is that what I was already hearing about coming out of Colorado and other states that were legalizing recreational use marijuana was that it's not the same. And that they can control the potency. And they will highly regulate it. They can raise and lower the prices just like they do with cigarettes. Now, while I haven't seen that particular thing happen, prices fluctuating like with cigarettes, because I remember back when a pack of Marlboro Reds, not blacks, but Marlboro Reds, were a little over $5 a pack. And back then, like, shit, man, $5 was expensive even back then. $5 could get you a movie ticket to a dollar theater and concession. And probably leave you with $1 to go to the arcade real quick and play a few games before your movie starts. Now $5 won't even barely get you a full tank of gas. Thanks, Biden. Everything that happened in Biden's term was done in secret, done in hiding, under the guise of COVID. And all the censoring online was simply done to quell debate and conversation about the things that the Democrats were trying to hide. Mis, and malinformation were invented to, again, distract and deny what is going on. Conspiracy theories. Yes, we've always had conspiracy theories, but the conspiracy theories, everything that we were saying, everything Alex Jones was saying, everything that Charlie Kirk was saying, everything that Steven Crowder was saying, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan, Megyn Kelly, Ted Cruz, and pretty much all the Republicans, besides who you are, Liz Cheney, Mitch McConnell, you were letting it happen. Because the Democrats said, hey, Hey, Mitch, you want in on our little stock deals?
Well, that sounds great. What's in it for me?
Well, if you invest in these affordable housing firms, these development firms, and you help us get all this grant money to go out to build affordable housing for illegal immigrants.
Oh, well, how much would I be getting?
Oh, well, trust me, it's a hefty sum, Mitch.
Okay, that sounds good. Sign me up.
And then he starts betraying everybody. Now, mind you, I was not into politics at all before Obama. But when I first started hearing about a black presidential candidate, I started paying attention. And only for the fact is that I'm sitting here going, okay. And then when I started hearing him talk, I'm like, well, he sounds well spoken. He seems well to do. Okay, let's see how this goes. Well, the election came, he wins, election goes. And then immediately afterwards, I kept hearing the same things from people of the same skin color as him. Oh, we got a black man in the White House. Black man in the White House. And I was like, oh boy, what just happened? What just happened? Like I said, I didn't vote for Obama or whoever. I don't even remember who was the Republican candidate because, like I said, I wasn't into politics at the time. But then I started seeing and hearing about certain things when it comes to entitlement of a specific cultural culture of people, and that these people were seeming to get preferential treatment. And then I started hearing little echoes of DEI and social credit scores and what was going on in the universities is what really got me. And like I said, and that's why I miss Charlie so much, because if it wasn't for Charlie, I would not know half of the stuff I know now. I wouldn't have had the knowledge that I have now about things if it wasn't for Charlie. Now, granted, I've learned a lot from Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles. I've learned a lot from all of them. Channing Tatum, Brandon Tatum, not Channing Tatum. Sorry, Brandon Tatum. I love what they do. I appreciate the fact that they are taking their free time, even if it's now their job. What was once their free time is now their job. That they are willing to give us the truth. Liberal hive mind was another one. I know he can't show who he is, because if he shows who he is, he's going to get doxxed. They're going to try to dox him. I was almost doxxed. On one of my recent videos, I was almost doxxed about what I said about Columbus Day. Oh my God, I had to turn the comments off. I had to turn them off on that video, because you know me, I usually leave the comments on. But this son of a bitch just would not stop. At every turn, he tried to basically call me a racist. And I'm like, well, prove it. Prove it. But like I just said, is that technically at this point, I don't care. Because anything I do nowadays is racist. Anything that a person with my skin color does is racist. Oop, I just farted. You're offending me. Oh, it's racist that you fart in my presence. Shit like that. It's just the only thing that I can say that was good that came out of the George Floyd incident was that they demanded cops have body cameras. And at first I'm like, okay, this will hold police accountable if they screw up, but it'll also show the side of the criminal, what the criminal's done, what the suspect has done. And I find it very, let's just say, concerning I find it very concerning. I'm losing my train of thought because my dog is barking at these kids who won't fucking. It's the. And that, So yeah, if you're noticing, I'm getting more and more frustrated because there's just so much going on at one time, and there's only a handful of people trying to do something about it. Trump being one of them, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, RFK. But you've got people blocking him at every turn. Lower court judges saying, no, you can't do that. Hello, who the fuck do you think you are? You got no power to tell the president what he can and can't fucking do. But you can't tell these people that. Nowadays, you can't tell anyone pretty much anything. And it's proof on the body cams that the cops wear. We see it all the time. The usual suspects always saying the same thing. I didn't do nothing. I'm not going to use the euphemisms that they use for it, or the terminology. But I didn't do nothing. Can I call my mama? Why you touching me? Don't put your hands on me. Bro. Bro, 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 bro. Bruh, bro, bruh. And so on and so forth. There's just no need to pussyfoot anymore. There's no need to censor ourselves anymore. Because if other races and cultures of people in the United States seem to be free to say whatever they want, whenever they want, we can be called every racial slur in the book. We can be beaten, stabbed, shot, murdered, and as we are dying, we know that our killer most likely will get off with a slap on the wrist. Because they'll claim it was self-defense. It was racially motivated. Fuck yeah, I was racially motivated. Black dude killed me. Because I didn't do anything to him. Because the main thing that gets me is that when I hear black people who talk about, racism all the time, is that they make it sound as if every single white person is out there just waiting for a black guy to pass by. Somebody black to pass by, please. And they can go, oh, I hate you, get out of my country. That's what they think we do. So in turn, they are already angry. They say that, well, as long as we keep them scared of us, we don't have to be afraid of them. Which is a psychological thing that pretty much any living creature does. So it's like in nature, certain animals change the color of their skin to ward off predators. Some animals puff out their chests. Gorillas, I'm the king here. Lions will stare you down. Each species on this planet has a way to intimidate. Each species on this planet has a way to instill fear into their prey or potential predators that want to basically prey on them. Even the smallest creature has their own little defense. Like, even if you eat me, you'll still die because I'm poisonous. So, at least that's justice. But not with the human race. No. Somebody gets killed, and then all of a sudden we hear about a GoFundMe for the murderer. And just because the person that committed the crime was black, we're supposed to go, oh, sorry, Mr. Black Man. We're trying to find the white guy behind you. it's when you look at what's going on in Russia, right? Russia and Ukraine. They are basically one and the same people. I mean, their languages are very similar, if not the same. But I kind of picture it that it's like it is with us and English speaking people, you know, with the English and the British and the Irish and the Scottish. Any English speaking country, they have their accents, but we can still understand them. So I'm assuming that that's the way it works in Russia with Ukraine, is that they can understand each other, but they just both have a slightly different accent to it, to themselves. And probably the same thing with the Middle East. You know, Indians have their accent. The Pakistanians have their accent, and so on and so forth. And probably the same thing for Somalia and Ethiopia. You know, their languages are so close that they probably just sound like somebody speaking Australian to them. You know what I mean? So, but the one thing is that there are certain cultures of people that are inherently bad. You just can't deny that. The Mongols, they were bad people. The Nazis, Nazi Germany, those were some bad people. Not all Germans, but the Nazis. So it's the same thing, and that's the same difference when it comes to anybody in America, you know, that's true patriot and everything, and they see a German and they automatically think Nazi. It's like no, you can't do that. You can't go and do that. Because not all Germans were Nazis. Just like not all black people are, you know what? And I've never once assumed that they were. I know plenty of well-rounded, educated, nice black people. But it just seems like with every passing generation, something just gets a hold of them, and it just brings them down. And in a lot of ways, like I said, I do not fear the black community. I actually weep for them, because they have been brought down, they have been kept down so long by white liberals that it's like a dog that we're releasing, that an animal that we're releasing back into the wild. You lift the cage door, they walk out and go, no, we want to go back with you. You gave us food, you give us shelter, you give us what we need to survive. So you see how it is. Right now, every black person that follows the Democrat Party and follows along with the narrative that everything is racist, white people are inherently evil, and we're all out to get you, all cops are bastards, all that shit, the ones that believe that, and the ones that behave the way that we all see on the police body cam footage, we all see it, the way that those particular people act, they will never understand that they are slaves. They are slaves to the people who are saying, we're here to help. So that's why I don't bother trying to help. Because I don't want that. I want them to do for themselves. I want to see them get off Section 8. I want to see them have successful relationships. I want to see them have plenty of kids. I don't want to see cops just arresting random black people and like, oh, he's resisting, bang. I don't want to see that. Because look what happens. But if you want to call me racist, go right ahead. Because nothing I say or do is going to convince you that I'm not. I could be the biggest, most religious person in the world, and you could still find some way to call me racist. And that's just fucking wrong. I've never done one thing. I've tried to play basketball, okay? As a young kid, I happened to come across an abandoned basketball. Every so often, I find an abandoned basketball, and I'm like, hey, cool, you know, there's a basketball hoop right over there. Let's go. So we go over there. Me and my brother start shooting the ball. Of course, we're missing every shot because we're really little. We were not big enough, not tall enough to shoot. But no sooner do we start playing, here comes the group of black guys who have their own ball, mind you, but they say, "Hey, little man, let me see the rock. Let me see the ball." And we go, here we throw it to them, and they go, "Thanks, little man." And then they walk off and they start playing, and we're like, we try to play, and they're like, no, you're too little, get out. Well, I'm like, what the fuck? We just basically got kicked the fuck out. We have substituted my apologies, "I'm sorry," for "my bad." No. I want a formal apology. When you allow certain groups of people any kind of entitlement, and I can debunk the whole, white supremacy thing, and white privilege thing. I can debunk that in a heartbeat. No problem there. But it's easier to disprove white supremacy and white privilege than it is to prove Muslim privilege, black privilege, Mexican privilege. We don't talk about that, do we? No. Because the way the Democrats see it is that we've gotten too smart. We've caught on to what they're doing. So they have to bring in the ignorant masses from overseas that they say, "Hey, we'll give you all this free shit. Just vote for us." Okay, we do. And they come over. Because look what's happening. Mamdani in New York. And do you women really think that if Mamdani's elected and all that fucking Islam shit starts happening in fucking New York, do you women really think you can still wear your Prada? Do you women in New York think that you can still wear your Gucci? No. Every single fucking store will become a place that will only sell burqas and hijabs. Guaranteed. He will find it offensive. His people will find it offensive. Because when they're in the majority, that's when they take control. You watch. You just watch. Just watch. And why did Eric Adams, even though he's a Democrat, and he was starting to turn a leaf, he was starting to do some turns, why did you drop out? Why did he drop out? He would have had a better chance at staying mayor than, he had a better chance of staying mayor than any of the other people that are running against him. But Mamdani has his little issues with the foreign donations, and so hopefully this gets him disbarred from fucking running. I hope. I'm hoping. Just kids screaming as I run to get to the bus. Back then, we didn't even do that. Teachers had us file out calmly and quietly as we got on the bus. But no, nowadays these kids just scream. And again, I know they're kids. And at this point in my life, I'd love to see kids doing anything other than being on their phone. It just makes more sense to me. I haven't seen a kid climb a fucking tree in like 20 some years. And I don't mean just hanging off a branch either. I've seen kids hanging off a branch of a tree, but I'm talking about a kid climbing the tree, let alone a whole gaggle of them. Me and my friends back in the day, you couldn't keep us out of the trees. Sometimes we were in the trees because we needed to be in the trees to get away from the neighborhood bullies. But then, me and my buddies started backyard wrestling and learning martial arts together and fighting with each other and sparring. We toughened the fuck up. And then the bullies became the bullied. They did not expect that. As a matter of fact, the one that gave me my broken nose, which I don't know if you really can tell, but you might have noticed over the years how it's a little crooked. Because he broke my nose with a sucker punch. Well, Sean, how's your teeth feeling, buddy? Or excuse me, your false teeth. Still taste concrete? You took a big chunk, buddy. Took a big chunk. But I would just love to take a big chunk out of just all the issues going on in this world. I can do it. I can do it. And that's why I do this series, my If I Was in Charge series, because I know that logic and facts run the world. You cannot run the world on feelings. Sorry, can't do it. Oh, I feel sad today. I don't feel good today. Let's just not do anything today. Or I'm just too happy today. I don't want to work. I'm going to go and play. Because that's all it seems that these loony liberals want to do is play. They want to dance in the streets. They want to fucking express themselves as fucking whatever they want to express themselves as. And I just, calm down, Rick. Calm down. And I will admit too, and yes, I'm live, and when I'm scrolling through shorts, and for some reason, I don't know why YouTube does this, but I want to watch YouTube shorts, not the lives. So you should have a separate area for that, you know? If I want to watch a video, I can watch a video. If I want to watch short after short after short, that's what I want. I don't want to continue to watch, shorts, and then all of a sudden, live stream. Because, to be honest, the only thing I see in my live stream, the majority of the time, are the same people doing the same thing. And, quite frankly, scaring me. There's this one old lady on here. Whoo, boy, man, she must have sucked on 1,000,000 lemons. And there's that one dude with a toilet seat around his head, around his neck. What the fuck, dude? And there's this couple. I don't know if they're engaged, they're married or whatever, but there's this white guy and this black woman, and they're doing some sort of religious thing where it's like they're chanting. Like every time that I'm scrolling and I come across them, it's just she's just sitting there, I'm like, what the? And he's just doing, I'm like, what the fuck? There's another guy I just recently started seeing who sits in a chair and he's like meditating, and he's got this fucking like pyramid, this wireframe pyramid over his head with a little fucking dangly thing at the top of the point pointing down, and he's holding something. He's just I'm like, what in the fuck is wrong with people? This is what angers me. Okay, I don't like to get angry very often because bad things happen when I get angry. But it just seems like on the daily that I feel like I have to justify my existence always. I have to validate my moral stances on the daily. Because if I don't, it can be taken away from me. One day I could have the right to say whatever I want on here and be perfectly fine, but then the next day it could be all taken away. Because somebody's feelings got hurt. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Don't care. Don't care. You know why I don't care? Because I'm 43 fucking years old. Alright? The younger generation's already calling me old. So I'm going to start fucking acting old. I'm going to act like all the cranky old people that I came across as a kid. Stay off my lawn. You kids better quiet down. You want that? Do you want another cranky old white man yelling at you from his porch? Because I don't want to do that. I want to continue to do my blacksmithing. I want to continue to build my inventions. I want to continue to do what I want in peace and harmony, not being told by some Muslim imam that I'm being immoral, that, I can't have pork chops anymore. I don't want to be told anything by anyone. So that's why I'm all for this government shutdown. The Dems, you did something right for a change. You did something right for a change. By allowing the government to shut down, you're letting Trump do what he needs to do. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Chucky, I love you. I love you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Hold out a little longer. Keep holding out. Keep holding out until you get what you want. Even though you're not gonna. Because we all know what that is. I hear about illegals in Minnesota. Minnesota, most likely. Yeah, in Minnesota, getting driver's license. Illegal aliens getting driver's license. And therefore, They were getting the right to vote. Liberals are so fucking stupid. There's that meme going around saying, and Tom McDonald had the lyrics in his one song. It's like if the other side hated oxygen, like if one side likes oxygen, the other side will put a bag on their head. It's like, why would we do that? Trump, just do that. Just say, I love air. I love oxygen. And then watch those loony liberals just fucking put the bag over their head. You watch! They would do it. We tell them, Tylenol is bad for pregnant women. What do they do? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow. Remember when Trump said that people were playing with the idea that Trump had said, oh, drink bleach to get rid of COVID. And the Democrats twisted that. Now, if he had said that, if Trump had actually said, drink bleach, it'll kill COVID, I guarantee you that immediately on TikTok and on Instagram and everywhere else, you'd have loony liberals chugging bleach. Hell, they were already eating Tide Pods. And that's the thing. We're taking orders. We're getting demands from the generation that ate Tide Pods? Yeah, real winners there. I'm just going to keep going as long as my phone holds out. Even if I got to take it inside and charge it or go inside and grab my charger, I'm just going to keep fucking going. Granted, I got chores that I got to do every single day. Clean 2 cat boxes, clean up after a dog, clean the dog's wee sheets, change the cat's water, change the dog's water, make sure they got food, do my dishes, do my laundry. I have so many things that I have to do after I get off of work, to where I barely have any free time to myself. I have to make the choice. Do I do my dishes now, or do I have some free time now? Give myself some free time. But yet there are so many people out there who right now, from the time I woke up this morning to right now, have done absolutely nothing. I mean, right here, right now, I could give you several, if not pretty much every video idea that I have for YouTube Shorts. I would love to see society go back to where drugs were illegal and the thrill of finding your drug of choice was more worth it. It's like they say when you cook food, it's like food tastes better when you make it yourself. I mean, even though that's not always true, in its own way. However, like I just said in my last video, I would rather get my weed from a Tyrell or Darnell in a back alley.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
In a back alley somewhere, than get it from a dispensary or a gas station. Because it's not the same. It's not the same. When I would get my bag from a dealer, you could smell that shit before he's even pulled it out. This stuff, you got to stick your nose deep inside the fucking tube. You go, yeah, that smells a little bit like weed. Because when the government can control the potency, yeah, placebo. I am going to have to wrap this up because I do have things I have to do. Because I can easily go on and on and on. And to anyone who watches this, I go everywhere. God, when can people start doing things the right way? The right way. How hard is that? How hard is that? When the cops pull you over, comply. Yes, you may be doing something illegal. You may have done something illegal. And you've done something illegal. But the cops themselves even say it all the time. Make it easy on yourself. There's no need to lose your shit, flip a lid, be vulgar, and resist arrest. Just put your hands behind your back and do what the cops say. License, registration, proof of insurance. I'm sorry, officer, I do not have any of those. I am driving illegally. Step out of the car, ma'am or sir. Place your hands behind your back. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And you go, yep, I screwed up. And then you get in the back of the car and you deal with the consequences of your actions. But calling everything racist and blaming everything on me, on people like me, and thinking that the world is so cut and dry, thinking that your individuality deserves some sort of reparations, some sort of acknowledgement. Because right now, even as I'm speaking to you all, I don't care whether or not you like or dislike me. I don't care whether or not you do or do not sub to me. I do not care what I say or do, because I am a living, breathing person with the free will to say and do what I want. However, there are a lot of moral rules that everyone should follow. Because if everybody went around acting on their impulses, I can assure you there's not enough body bags. Yeah, I can assure you that if we had 120 million% freedom of expression, there'd be a lot of people falling down. There'd be a lot of body bags to zip up. Because if you allow people to express themselves the way that a lot of people want to express themselves, people will get hurt. People will die. People will suffer. That's just a guarantee. So when we all start playing on the same playing field and not trying to give certain cultures and ethnic backgrounds, more freedoms and rights and entitlement over others, is wrong. We don't we don't want to be elevated above anybody else. We want to be equal with everybody, but it's kind of hard when there are people who are out there shouting for equality, but only for themselves. They want equality amongst their own people. They want to all, live off the system equally. But the rest of us, no, we can go to hell. They don't care. I love my country. I love my state. I love my city. But every aspect of this country needs to be completely overhauled. And it's technically going to have to start with the federal government. And so that is why, like I said, Chucky, keep stalling. Jeffries, keep stalling. Oh, excuse me, Hakeem. Oh, it sounds like you're horking something up. Hakeem. Keep stalling. Let Trump run his course. You fucked around and you are now finding out. Now, there are so many other things I can say, so many other things I can do. Like with that development. I mean, I could easily go over to each one of those people's houses that are along there and say, did you know that this is what's being put behind your house? Because I'll guarantee you most of them will not know. Like, yeah, I saw them plowing out there and clearing it out. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, you're going to have some neighbors. 504 units full of them. Because as we all know, that depending on how many bedrooms these places have, there are groups of people in our country, some here illegally, but there are also plenty here that are legal, who have found an ingenious way to save money. Say, for example, you have a construction company, or a landscaping company, or a roofing company. See where I'm going with this? And you have a crew that all live together. They all live in a single apartment or home together where they share the bills, they share the meals, they share everything. That way they save the most money apiece. I mean, we've all seen it out on the construction site. You got the Mexican crew out there, and then all of a sudden here comes a minivan, and they stop work. One or two women get out. They open the back of the minivan up, and they literally pull out giant pots and pans and dishes full of food to serve everyone. And then at the end of the day, they all pile in the same vehicle and drive to the same location. I've seen it. There's several homes in Columbus that I know of where it's a very large home, and there's so many cars out front you'd think it was a car lot. But no, there are people who live there. And I've also seen where I currently work. I recently painted a unit with a tenant who was Mexican. He was trying to turn his apartment, his 3-bedroom apartment, into basically subletting it out to illegal migrants. In the basement, he had 10 cot frames. No mattresses, strangely, but cot frames laid out in this basement. Spaced out evenly, mind you. But in the back of the basement was a freshly drywalled little room. And my boss told me, yeah, he was planning on living in this one room and renting out every other room to illegals. And he was going to let them all share the kitchen and share the living room, the living spaces and stuff. Until we caught him. And they were able to evict him. So I had to tear down his room. He was going to wire. He was running electrical wire for more sockets and switches to that little room. And when you stop and think about each room in an apartment, really no matter what size, you could put single-sized cots or / bunk beds in there. So you could fit essentially 2 to 4, if not 6 individuals, if not more. And they will not care about having one cot to themselves. I have seen people being crammed into one unit. I mean, you think it was a jail cell, you know? Like those the immigration, like the immigrant prisons, how all packed in they are. Yeah, they live like that. I mean, I couldn't fucking do that shit. Being fucking elbow to elbow, back to back to some guy, fucking sleeping with some fucking dude I don't even know next to me. You know? I couldn't do that. But we're supposed to feel sorry for these people. And I know I said I was going to end it, but fuck it, I'm not. I'll wait till my fucking phone tells me otherwise. But the thing is, we're supposed to be made to feel sorry for these people. I can't. Not when you come here illegally. Not when you live off of our welfare programs. Not when you're not willing to learn our language. That's the biggest one for me. Because how am I supposed to communicate with you like my neighbors? How am I supposed to fucking communicate with them? If there's an issue, if there's a problem, I can't communicate with them. They just smile and go, ¿qué? No hable inglés? No hable inglés? And I'm like, of course you no hable inglés. I have a feeling that Dora was only created to prepare young American kids for the amount of non-English speaking Mexicans that are going to be in their country. Because I already done told my daughter if she was made to take Spanish and she doesn't do good in it, I'll tell her, I don't care. I don't care if you get an F in Spanish class. I don't care if you skip that whole class altogether. Because you're American. Why do you need to know Spanish? You're not going to Mexico. The people here in America need to learn American. I'm tired of having phones with translator apps shoved in my face. When all I'm trying to say is, hey, move your car. No English, no. And then they reach for their phone and I'm like, no. Car. Move. It's not fair that my daughter is going to grow up in a country that's not the same country that I remember. And I'll be damned if I ever see her wearing a fucking burqa. Damned. Now, I don't know what YouTube's going to do with this video, especially if they saw what I just did. Because, again, I haven't kept up. I mean, is that okay? I mean, we've all seen the video of Joe Rogan smoking, you know, Cheech and Chong smoking. They show other images of people smoking. Why can't I? Hell, I remember back when YouTube was still in its infancy, and a lot of the people making videos were showing off their bongs and their pipes. But we live in a society where you can't even go into a place like waterbeds and stuff, or beds and stuff now because waterbeds are obsolete. But you go into a smoke shop, and you can't even call what you're trying to find what it's called. I couldn't go into a waterbed and stuff and say, yeah, you know, show them my idea. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna look at your pipes. Oh, no. We don't call them pipes. We have to call them smoking devices. No, it's like, or a piece. Yeah, that's right, piece. You know, because we used to call a weed smoking pipe a piece. But then they were like, easy, buddy. And then they said, no, you can't call it that. You have to call it a pipe. And I'm like, well, it is a pipe. But this is a piece. Okay? This is a pipe. But yes, I know that when it comes to pipes, it's mostly mainly for tobacco. But why, when you're going to sell the product, that you're not going to call it what it is? You know, just like with this recreational marijuana, you know? Stop calling it marijuana because it's not fucking marijuana. Call it faux-wana. What, buddy? Come here. See, even my dog understands. You lick your butt. Butt face. I love him. He wants to go in. I'm not ready to go in. But I am ready to end this stream. Y'all have a good day. Heed all my warnings. That is all I ask. Heed my warnings. Otherwise, we're all fucked.